The first book we'll be talking about is My Antonia. It was written by Willa Cather and it was published in 1918. The genre is fiction and has been adapted into a movie television in 1994. The novel centers around two characters, Antonia Shimerda, an immigrant girl, and Jim Burton, the narrator. He moved from Virginia to Nebraska to live with his grandparents. Both Jim and Antonia grew up together in Nebraska. Antonia and her family moved from Bohemia in Europe to Nebraska in the United States. The typical gender norms in the early 1900s when the book was published was that women stayed home and cooked for their families and they took care of the children. Men, on the other hand, had the exclusive right to work on the farms and make money for the family. But in My Antonia, these gender roles completely swapped. One of the main reasons for this gender swap in My Antonia was due to the passing of Mr. Shimerda. Ambrose Shimerda would not have been able to fill this void all by himself, so this gave the unique opportunity to the women in the family, like Mrs. Shimerda and Antonia, to step up and start working on the farm and making money to fill the void. So, Antonia did just that. She started working on the farm to help support the family by making food and money. This is one of the primary steps in the reversal of gender roles, as prior to this, women worked exclusively in the house and they rarely were allowed to do physical work on the farm. One such description of Antonia on the farm can be seen through Jim's description of her on page 82. He describes her as, "She kept her sleeves rolled up all day, and her arms and throat were burned as brown as the sailors. Her neck came up strongly out of her shoulders, like the bole of a tree out of the turf. One sees that draught horse neck among the peasant women in all old countries. She had come to us a child, and now she was a tall, young girl." This quote helps to show that Antonia was no longer the innocent girl at the start of the novel. She is now more brawny and masculine, working to cement the idea of the swap of the gender roles occurring in the novel. Another aspect of the swap in gender roles can be seen when immigrant women like Antonia moved to Black Hawk to make money and support their families back on the farm. Before, such duties relating to money and supporting the family were usually given to men, not the women.